This wedding was an assignment for my Religion 2 class in Catholic school.
This one's wife. As ever. Is this simply a distraction? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife and Prince Harry have faced calls for congressional scrutiny with regard to the financial activities of Archwell. Archwell is a foundation. It was established in Delaware, which means that under those laws, only 5% of its income needs to be distributed. The other 95% can be used for other things, meaning that expenses can be paid from that: security, travel, accommodation, clothing, and who knows what else. Numerous individuals take advantage of this particular benefit conveyed by the state of Delaware. Originally, this one's wife and Prince Harry have faced criticism in respect of the establishment of that foundation and essentially being seen to use money that has been ploughed into it as their own personal dosh, utilised under the auspices of turning up and doing good on behalf of Archwell. Recently, however, the criticisms of such asset appropriation have taken a further turn in respect of the allegation that money from US aid, which of course has been scrutinised and trimmed by Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, has resulted in the unearthing that money has been channeled into Archwell, which has then been funneled by Archwell to various political-related organisations, something which calls into question the legitimacy of what they have done, and in particular the fact that Harry, as a foreign national, and the pair of them as members of the royal family are perhaps engaging in, at best, unethical behaviour, at worst, potentially unlawful behaviour. This has resulted in calls for them to be subjected to some kind of congressional scrutiny, for them to be audited, for it to be opened up and looked at in greater detail. This naturally would be a concern for both of them, and in particular for this one's wife. It's a problem because, first of all, any kind of scrutiny is a threat to control because it looks to hold her to account. Furthermore, the money in Archwell is a residual benefit, and if there is any suggestion of that being cut off, or with the suggestion that it ought to be repaid in some way from her personal pockets, not only is that also a threat to control, but it means that she loses out on a substantial residual benefit. Furthermore, should there be civil or criminal action that flows from it, another threat to control with the adverse publicity. Accordingly, with this going on in the background, there's the suggestion that, as ever, is simply being utilised as a distraction. That this one's wife has come up with, as ever, that she's created the video, that she's created the buzz with it all, that it gets reported on around the press, so that people will turn and look at as ever, rather than keep going, hang on a second, what about what's going on with Archwell's money? Well, it's certainly the case that many people are easily distracted. They stamp their feet and they grab the pitchforks and the torches, but then they can soon be distracted by other matters and forget about what it was they were complaining about. Nevertheless, the fact remains, would this really be seen as a distraction? After all, this one's wife started to create As Ever back in 2022, and I understand the LLC was incorporated last year. Also bear in mind, you're not dealing with some mastermind here. There are those that think that this one's wife is some kind of arch-villain. She's not. Take it from me. First of all, she's not very clever. Anybody who mangles the English language in the way that she does is demonstrative of somebody that is not that bright. Furthermore, someone whose only success has been to sponge off the reputation of being married to a prince isn't successful. She can't achieve anything in her own right, by virtue of the fact that she has no talent, no charisma, and she's unlikable. Furthermore, the fact that she keeps failing tends to support the fact that she's not very good and therefore not very bright and that she's not very calculated. Throw in the fact that I've assessed her as a mid-range narcissist, which means that she operates in the moment, and there's plenty of evidence to support that proposition. The fact is, she isn't this criminal mastermind, this financial Svengali, but rather an individual who is greedy, driven by her narcissism, and keeps making mistakes. For her to throw up as ever as a distraction would require some degree of planning on her part, and that's not something she's very good at. Instead, as is invariably the case, it's Occam's razor. There is a more simple explanation which is more likely to be the correct explanation. She isn't using as ever as a distraction, although there'll be those that may think that it is. She's using as ever because she's obsessed with wanting a lifestyle brand. She wants to emulate Gwyneth Paltrow or Martha Stewart because she thinks that's what she's about. Remember, her narcissism tells her, you're great at crafting and cooking and gardening and travel and fashion and dining out. That's you. You're a foodie. You're a fashion icon. You've got something to bring. Her ego is such that she thinks that the things that I like, I'm going to sell to you. You'll want them because I've got such wonderful taste. She's playing at being the brand guru. She doesn't have a clue how to do it, as evidenced by the wholesale failure of ARO. But she's preoccupied with that because her narcissism, as part of its delusion, tells her, you are a lifestyle brand guru. You're in the mould of Paltrow. You are the facsimile of Stewart. You belong up there. And so you can do it. And because she does have an interest in the pretty things, in the more refined aspects of life, the expensive tastes, because she's a somatic narcissist, this fits together very neatly. Her somaticism causes her to focus on those things. Therefore, she believes she is somebody that has such good taste. Therefore, she believes that that apparent good taste and her brilliant business acumen and her fame should translate into the creation of a lifestyle brand. And that's why she keeps trying. That's why she tried with ARO. And, as you know, that entered some cul-de-sacs. So rather than give up, she comes along with the cookery show. And she comes along with As Ever. She's done these things not to distract from the financial pressures. Indeed, those aspects of the cookery show, that was filmed last year before anything emerged in relation to suggesting that Archwell faces further scrutiny with regard to the charitable donations that it has received through US aid. This show is something that she wants desperately because her narcissism deems that it is appropriate for her, that it fits with her somatic narcissism, that it is enabling her to control an audience by appearing like this trad wife, to receive fuel by way of people going, oh, isn't she wonderful? Gosh, what a wonderful idea. Oh, look how she's elevated with that with mint. I'm going to do that myself. Oh, she's drizzled honey. So brave, so stunning. That it creates the residual benefit because she's a greedy woman. She needs the money, and the money's drying up. Netflix are unlikely to want to give her another 5-year deal. Lemonada, nothing's happened with that so far. As I've explained before, the cosmetic giants and the fashion houses have not come looking for her. There's nobody looking to partner with her. So this is another throw of the dice to try and make the tens of millions of dollars that she craves, that she believes that belong to her. So it's all about the creation of a lifestyle brand. It isn't about using it as a distraction. Indeed, there's also the point that it's not a particularly good distraction anyway, because those that scrutinize her finances aren't going to be put off by some ephemeral lifestyle brand. they're still going to show the dogged determination that they have done so far in digging deep into the nefarious world of the deals and connections that have taken place in relation to this one's wife. They're not going to be put off by the fact that there's some smoke and mirrors concerning her lifestyle brand. Far from it. Now, you might think that a dimwit such as this one's wife might think, well, you will be put off, and so I will use it as a distraction. But everything about her narcissism points to her wanting this lifestyle brand, not because it's a distraction, but because it caters to the prime aims, because it's something that she identifies with. It's something that she sees herself as. Remember, she ran the TIG. This is her kind of gig. She believes this is her type of thing. And so it's not a distraction, far from it. It's being done because it accords with the way that she sees herself, the way that through her deluded mindset she believes that she is the lifestyle and lifestyle guru. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.